All right, welcome back. We talked a little bit in Heroes and Boneheads about the NCAA tournament and everything leading up to it.
And then you cut us off, Charles.
I had to cut you off.
Let's talk about it later.
We're moving on to other stuff.
Let's talk about it now.
Later is now.
Let's talk about Syracuse right now.
Syracuse is balling right now.
Well,
they just beat the number 1 team in the country.
Hey, they're coming in. Going into the Big East tournament, they had basically no hope of going to they're basically going to the NIT. Mm-hmm. They're not going to the Big Dance at all. Yeah. Come out beat UConn. They're in the Big Dance. And now it's March Madness time.
Yeah. What better timing? What
perfect.
Worse timing to be a Pitt fan, if you ask me.
Get at it.
They're coming for you, Case.
They're gunning for you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're gunning for you.
That's one of the biggest things in college basketball is momentum. Not necessarily who's the better team or who plays well together, but at this point in time, who's the hottest.
You knock off a number 1 seed at the right time, your team is going to be on the ultimate.
Which could be detrimental.
See, which is the same thing with Pitt, and I am a diehard Pitt fan, but I will admit it, that they could turn around the next night and just get smoked by. They're the most Pitt and Syracuse. I'll throw them in there. They're such bipolar teams.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Just like.
Well, I mean that'll happen with a team that relies on maybe 1 or 2 guys. I know Pitt relies on Krauser a lot.
Krauser, Aaron Gray's having
exactly.
a great year.
I mean if those guys aren't having a good night, what do you got? I mean Syracuse is really undersized.
Yeah.
So we've seen them getting out rebounded like crazy.
Yeah.
So.
And that was like last night with Pitt and Louisville.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, excuse me. I totally lost my train of thought. But what I was
22-2.
What I was trying to get into
22-2. Yeah.
They were winning as much as that. But what I was going to tie it into was
33-point lead.
You're killing me. Move on. I had a train of thought.
Louisville had the huge comeback, but I guess I was talking to some people at watching the game, and I said, who's Louisville? They haven't done anything this year. They're unranked. And somebody turned to me there. I wouldn't want to see Louisville in the first round because they're still you're still a well-coached team, projected to be number 8 in the country. You had a pretty bad season, but they're a dangerous team, man.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's coming back.
Dangerous team.
Before I forget, what I was going to say is, the domination last night by Pitt. It shouldn't be all credit to them. I mean, Louisville, their shots just weren't. Seriously, they were not falling, and that's why the deficit was so big. It wasn't them taking poor shot selection. Shots just were not falling, and that could happen to anybody in the tournament.
They started
and that's why Duke will not win the national championship this year. I'm saying it here first.
Right. Yeah. Right now, with the momentum the way it is, I need just a pick.
The Big East?
Who's winning the
overall?
Overall? Wow,
it's kind of premature, but just right now.
It's way premature. Because,
tremendously premature.
I am so superstitious that I find picking my team might boost them, even though it's unrealistic.
Yeah, Pitt is the new national champion.
Yes.
No, you know what? Honestly, I know the Big East is going to the finals, whether it's they're going to win or not.
They're the strongest conference. Right now.
I mean, I got either UConn, Villanova, obviously. I don't know. I could see UNC making kind of a run. They're young, but I like them.
They're a fun team or an easy team to like.
You know who my underdog this year is? Georgetown. I actually think Georgetown's going to make
Georgetown.
Georgetown's making a big run. I got them in the Final Four at least.
They played Duke tough this year. They played a lot of teams tough this year, and they got some fire, man.
Yeah, realistically, UNC or Villanova for me.
Yeah.
But as much as I'll be.
It's still like UConn. Even though they got upset by Syracuse, showed some kind of weakness. You still like them in the tournament.
That's the thing. I think UConn's my team. There was about 2 weeks ago, and I'm sticking to it.
I got either Nova or Georgetown making a late run.
Story, I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I got to stick pretty much with the teams you guys are throwing out there. I don't think anybody outside of that small group is going to.
I could see there being a lot of upsets. I mean, just by going how the Big East tourney is going, I could see a lot of upsets in the national.
And we get them every year in college basketball. 64 teams. I mean, there's bound to be a few little mishaps going here, and that's what makes the sport.
I'm telling you right now, this is the first year, and you can play this clip later when I'm wrong. A 16 is going to beat a 1. The way that the upsets are going, the upsets are going now, the way the number 1s have been kind of iffy, especially if Duke's a number 1, getting beaten by Florida State. I could see possibly you get Reddick in foul trouble. I'm saying, all I'm saying. 16 beating a 1.
Find the clip.
16 beating a 1.
Because there is no way, in my opinion, that a 16 should beat a 1. In my opinion.
There's no way a number 1 should lose to anybody technically, but it's gonna happen, man. 16 beating a 1.
Keep it on.
All right, we're gonna switch gears here, move on to the NFL. Now, there's all this talk going on with the labor unions and everything, and the salary cap. Does anybody really know exactly what's going on?
Technically, it's okay. Because I think me and John have a pretty good handle on this. There is a salary cap now installed, obviously. They want to renew that contract. They don't want to make it not have a salary cap.
They raised the salary cap?
No, what what the NFL does now is called revenue sharing, where lower revenue teams such as Cincinnati and Buffalo,
It's a percentage.
our team, yeah, exactly. Lower revenue teams, higher revenue teams help them out with money, basically.
Okay.
So because they obviously like a Philadelphia and an Indianapolis, two of the higher teams, get money from radio stations and stuff like that. That lower revenue.
They're
teams
only
can't
allowed to
have.
make so much, and
Exactly.
I remember doing a report on this. Whereas if they do go over their cap or whatever, it goes into a help out the other teams that don't have as
Exactly.
much fun, and then teams like Cincinnati, Arizona Cardinals. I'm saying I don't know. They pick from that pot, maybe the Texans, and that's where they get their money from. So I think it's a great system. It's been a great system for all these years.
This basically extended the contract for another 6 years, I think.
Which I think is fine.
Which is fine.
I have
Now,
no problem.
it voted 30-2, I think, was the thing. And the only two teams that said no to it were Cincinnati and Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I think the coaches came out yesterday and talked, and Ralph Wilson, not the coaches, the owners came out. Ralph Wilson said that, Cincinnati and Buffalo were kind of hesitant just because the meeting actually only took 45 minutes. They were in and they were out. And the whole
Well, it's
thing
such
was
a good system.
Oh no, it is. But the whole thing was Buffalo and Cincinnati wanted to talk just a little bit more. They just wanted a more detailed.
So we're the
kind of thing.
intellectual
Because
team
it was
of the whole
yeah
deal.
exactly. We're obviously the smartest
Higher
people,
up.
and we'd like to get all the rules.
Pretty much.
That's
Good way
much
of
it.
putting it, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean obviously revenue sharing a tremendous thing.
Yeah.
I mean in my mind, salary cap is why baseball is kind of ruined.
Oh my!
Yeah.
And
That is the.
Yep.
I think that
I don't-
epitomizes
yeah.
the problem with baseball right now is the salary cap. That's
Exactly.
where you need to start your problem fixing if you're going to start with Major
And
League
I
Baseball.
would,
is in the cap.
I mean, Kansas City Royals are never going to make it because
The Pittsburgh Pirates will never make the playoffs, and that's not like a bash. That's just the truth.
That's just they can't
They don't.
afford it.
Yeah, exactly. If I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but if the Yankees have $260 million to work with every year, that not only continues to grow because they're doing so good. The Pirates have $40 million to work with every year, and they only do so good as their team allows. So that's not going to allow them to grow.
And I
any
agree
further.
with you, but there are certain exceptions. I mean, teams like the Cleveland Indians, they
Very good point.
I mean, their salary is around $50 million or
Same with
something.
the Florida,
Scouting.
same with the
Very
Florida
good point.
Marlins.
I think
and
it goes
stuff
back
like
to farm team and a few coaching problems, which I think the Pirates kind of struggle with as far as pitching coaching and their sub coaching levels and their farm team as well. Cleveland maybe have a very substantial.
And so, I mean, if you're a Pirates fan or a Royals fan, I mean, you can talk about that, and that's 95% of the problem. But a lot of the problem too is the wrong people are in place for the scouting and everything like that.
Yeah, but then you got to look at the NFL and say there was no cap.
Why can't you just say, look at this league? They're so prosperous and everybody loves to watch them. Why can't they just follow that mold? I mean, I know it'd be kind of copying or not look so good.
Let's
or
say
original,
there was no cap, and let's say there's a Dallas Cowboys who obviously has a lot of money. Jerry Jones is really, Jimmy Jones, sorry, is a very wealthy man. Dallas is a really good
Jerry Jones.
playground. Jerry Jones,
Yeah.
he's a really good ground for a football team. Let's say Drew Brees is up, Sean Alexander's up, Randy Moss is up. What prevents them from grabbing everybody?
They just turn into
and
the
just,
New York Yankees of football.
exactly. Now the only one thing not having a salary cap does is in a Pittsburgh Steelers situation where Chris Hope and Randall L and everybody want to leave, it lets teams keep the people. But and that's
that's just the way it is. That's the nature of the beast.
exactly. And that's what helps the NFL because
That's why they're so
exactly.
popular right now.
Great
That's
great
the number
players
one
go
watched
to
sport in America today.
Yeah.
And that's why.
All right, more NFL talk. The reports this week that Culpepper wants out of Minnesota.
I
Yeah,
don't blame him.
well, he sent an email saying that if he doesn't, they try to extend his contract. He sent an email saying that if he doesn't get traded, he wants gone.
Well, that's it for Minnesota.
No,
But hey, man, you say what you will, but look how they did without
Brad
Culpepper.
Johnson, man.
Look how they did without Culpepper. With Culpepper, iffy. As soon as they got Culpepper out,
Supporting
7-game
cast
winning
wise, though, I'm looking at that.
I can see why Culpepper would want to leave. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I can see why you'd want to leave.
You
Yeah.
lose Randy
It's
Moss and you
Minnesota,
have all these
man.
problems.
It's in Minnesota.
I could see him wanting to leave after the whole pleasure boat scandal. Suddenly in Minnesota,
Yeah.
people don't really like him anymore. I mean, let's
Yeah.
face it.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to leave a team that would send me on cruises like that, though. I'd take the cruises.
You're horrible.
I'd sell my Super Bowl tickets too.
He's gone to.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about Vince Young here. This is just an awful situation.
I know. What part about it?
Just he's not working out. I mean,
I don't think you're working out, Charles. I think we need to wrap it up right now.
I just call this.
I do know what you mean.
I tried to bring something else up. Everybody just threw it back in my face. You're not going to help me. I'm not going to help you. I'm going to just end the show right now. You can't talk anymore.
Charles,
ETV Gameface at yahoo.com.
Saturday 2:30.
Go.
Go Burrow. 88.9.